If his money is your money, then what do you owe him? A feminine woman doesn't just spend a man's money. She multiplies it. What does that mean? You buy her a house, she turns it into a home.
Picture this. You're on a first date. Everything seems normal, and then suddenly your date shows up with 2 kids in tow without any warning. What would you do? Well, one man decided he'd had enough and did something that's got the entire internet talking. But before we dive into that explosive story, let me ask you something that might make you uncomfortable. When did we decide that having standards became a bad thing? Today, we're breaking down a situation that perfectly captures everything wrong with modern dating culture. A single mother thought she could manipulate a man into accepting her outrageous demands, but what happened next will shock you. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll understand why this story has millions of people choosing sides. But this isn't just about one entitled woman. We're going to explore multiple stories that reveal a disturbing pattern in today's dating world. From women creating literal price lists for potential partners, to others using religion as a manipulation tactic after years of questionable choices. These stories will make you question everything you thought you knew about modern relationships. Let's start with our main event. A woman decided to bring her children on a first date without telling her potential partner beforehand. Now, I want to be clear here. There's nothing inherently wrong with being a single parent. Many single parents are incredible people doing their best in difficult circumstances. But there's a huge difference between being a responsible single parent and being an entitled one who expects the world to revolve around their choices. This particular woman didn't just bring her kids as a surprise. She had an entire list of financial demands that would make your head spin. We're talking about someone who created what amounts to a business proposal disguised as a dating profile.
Let me tell you something. If you're dating a single mom, the most precious thing they have, time. And they value every minute with their kids, with their family. So when you come into their life,
Her monthly rent? $2,771, and guess what? If you want to date her, you're expected to cover that immediately. Not after months of dating, not after establishing a relationship, but right from the start. But wait, it gets worse. She's got 2 boys who need new shoes and school clothes. Her light bill comes to $278 monthly. She needs a new car with insurance. She expects $175 monthly for hair and nails, $600 for personal spending money, and $1,000 for groceries. Oh, and she loves shopping every weekend too. The cherry on top? She doesn't want to clean the house and doesn't want to work. Think about this for a moment. What she's essentially saying is that she wants a man to pay for her entire lifestyle while she contributes absolutely nothing except her mere presence. This isn't dating. This is something else entirely. She's putting a price tag on access to her, which raises some serious questions about her intentions. Now, when our mystery man encountered this situation on their first date and realized what he was dealing with, he made a decision that sparked intense debate online. He left her stranded, just walked away from the entire situation. Some people are calling him heartless, others are calling him a hero. But here's what I think really happened. He recognized manipulation when he saw it and refused to be a victim. This connects to a much larger problem we're seeing in modern dating culture. There's this growing expectation that men should automatically accept any baggage or demands that women bring to the table, no questions asked. But since when did having personal standards become controversial? Let's examine another story that perfectly illustrates this mentality. We have a woman who openly admits to sleeping with hundreds of men, making explicit content.
silent is a word. Become silent without any of your in your silence. You are telling people you are mature.
and living what most would consider a highly promiscuous lifestyle. But now she's suddenly found religion and expects quality men to line up for marriage. She calls herself a born-again Christian and acts like her past should be completely irrelevant. Here's the reality. Actions have consequences. You can't spend years making choices that demonstrate a lack of commitment, self-control, and respect for traditional relationship values, then suddenly expect serious men to ignore all of that because you've had a religious awakening. It doesn't work that way, and the fact that some women think it should reveals a fundamental misunderstanding of how attraction and compatibility actually work. This brings us to another fascinating example of modern female entitlement. We have a woman who becomes furious when her husband wants to remove his wedding ring while going to the gym. Her reasoning? She doesn't trust the other women at the gym and wants everyone to know he's married. But here's what she's really saying. She doesn't trust her own husband to remain faithful, even when directly approached by other women. Think about how insulting this is. She's essentially telling him that she believes he's so weak and untrustworthy that he can't handle being in the same building as attractive women without cheating. This isn't about protecting their marriage. It's about her own insecurity and need for control. A confident wife would trust her husband to handle any situation appropriately, regardless of whether he's wearing a ring or not. But perhaps the most disturbing example comes from a woman who literally stole $900 from her boyfriend and tried to justify it as just change. When he gave her $1,000 and asked her to deposit the remainder after spending what she needed, she spent $900 and acted like it was no big deal. Her exact words were, "It's just change," and "It's not even $1,000 anymore." This represents something deeply troubling about how some people view relationships and money. She built trust with this man over years, only to betray that trust for money, and then act like he was being unreasonable for expecting honesty. This kind of behavior destroys relationships and creates the trust issues that plague modern dating. We're also seeing women who demand that men be leaders and take initiative.
When someone disrespects you, don't react. Don't argue, don't get involved in drama. Just remove your presence. Walk away. Distance is the best response to disrespect.
But only on their terms. They want masculine leadership when it benefits them. But the moment a man tries to set boundaries or standards, suddenly he's being controlling or insecure. You can't have it both ways. Either you want a man who leads and makes decisions, or you want someone you can control completely. Those are fundamentally incompatible desires. The woman who's been single for 6 years after a 4-month relationship perfectly illustrates another modern problem. She complains that her ex-boyfriend was too clingy because he wanted to know where she was and what she was doing. But look at how she presents herself and think about what that really means. When a woman dresses provocatively and complains about her partner wanting to know her whereabouts, it usually means activities like clubbing and girls' nights out were more important to her than the relationship. Here's what's really happening in all these stories. We're seeing the consequences of a culture that tells women they can have everything they want without making any sacrifices or compromises. They've been told they can live however they want during their youth, make whatever choices they want, and then expect high-value men to accept all of it without question when they're finally ready to settle down. But that's not how real life works. Actions have consequences. Choices matter. Character is built over time through consistent behavior, not overnight transformations. When someone shows you who they are through their actions over years, believe them. The man who left that entitled single mother stranded made a decision that many people are afraid to make. He refused to be taken advantage of. He recognized that someone who approaches dating with a list of financial demands isn't looking for love or partnership. They're looking for a provider they can exploit.
I am not beautiful. I am not perfect. I am not intelligent. That's maybe true, but I am not fake.
This doesn't make him heartless or cruel. It makes him someone who understands his own worth and refuses to accept disrespectful treatment. More men need to follow this example. When you encounter entitled behavior, manipulation, or someone who clearly sees you as a wallet rather than a person, the healthiest response is to walk away immediately. The truth is, genuine relationships are built on mutual respect, shared values, and emotional connection. They're not built on financial transactions, or one person providing everything while the other contributes nothing. When someone leads with demands rather than interest in getting to know you as a person, they've shown you exactly what they're really after. So, what can we learn from these stories? First, trust actions over words. When someone shows you their character through their behavior, believe them. Second, having standards isn't cruel or unreasonable, it's necessary for healthy relationships. Third, real change takes time and consistent behavior, not just declarations or religious conversions. The dating world has become increasingly challenging, but that doesn't mean we should lower our standards or accept treatment that we know is wrong. Whether you're a man or woman, you deserve someone who respects you, values you as a person, and wants to build something genuine together. Don't settle for less, and don't feel guilty about walking away from situations that clearly aren't in your best interest. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply refuse to participate in someone else's manipulation.